Good evening, sir. Good evening. Again, once again, welcome to this 28th Annual Convention, ISAPM 2022, and also National Conference on the Livestock Productivity Enhancement Productivity. We consider that in livestock production management, you are a very expensive, a very good, excellent academician. When we studied undergraduation and also post-graduation, we your textbooks and grown up our academic activities. When you are teaching, that was the time, so everything was new. So you and seen these systems, and you must have documented in text form. So they are very valuable to the country, sir. On this occasion, so now this is a third generation, we can consider fourth generation we are. You are the first generation. So there is a lot of difference, the first generation and fourth generation, in terms of livestock production systems. Can you make out what exactly the difference between the first generation and the present generation?
Yeah, when I came here and attended this conference and attended various sessions, it was an eye-opener to me how far backward I am and how far the science has progressed, the youngsters in what type of technology and what type of instruments they are using. After all, livestock production, in my opinion, was a very mundane science for the common man, for the common farmer. But it has advanced to high levels of technology. And the youngsters, their presentations, their research is something outstanding and which I appreciate and cherish.
Right. Do you believe that our scientists are meeting the requirements of the farmers now? The present academicians and scientists?
This should be transferred to the farmers. They are at an ivory tower. They have to come down and take it to the farmer so that he can apply. Of course, some of the elite farmers, they can do it. But what about the ordinary farmer? He should be somehow brought in. And for that, extension activities have to be strengthened.
Right, sir. Then coming to the one climate change issues, sir. When you have written some textbooks, you have mentioned THA levels differently. When we are doing research and using those values, so that is to be, now we understand that those values to be revisited in the changing climate situation. Is it true? So what kind of changes we need to do? Because those values were pertaining when the climate was good. Now the climate is changing, those thermohumidity index, the values need to be changed. What is your opinion, sir?
You see, at that time, of course, the climatic change and its consequences were at a very far distance. But now it is at our doorstep. We have only 4 or 5 years to until it attacks us. So we have to change our strategies. We have to change our baseline and move forward.
Right, sir. Coming to the present farming system, sir, especially in metro cities, some of the NRIs and the IT persons, they are moving towards more of automation. But in spite of that, many of the automated, like where the farming systems integrated with automation, they're not proved to be very profitable in Indian conditions. So what do you suggest for the new entrepreneurs, whether the automation is needed for the farming systems in Indian conditions, and also if it is needed, to what extent the automation can be taken up?
You see, they are competing with people who are producing with zero input or very limited, very small input, whereas they have made a lot of investment. And the prices they can get for their product within India is very limited. They have to produce quality material and find an export market, because their systems are just like on par with what is there in the West. You have to advertise it there and this has to be procured separately and exported separately. Then only they can survive.
That's wonderful, sir. Then coming to the other contemporary, some of the conflictable issues in terms of policy initiatives, like cow ban, cow slaughter ban. Those things are cropping up in many states of the country. What should be the policy perspective for the country in terms of how we should look the cow, how we should look the meat animal, how we should look the milk animal? What should be the perspective of the government policies? Because I think at this stage, you have a big heart to and a liberty to advise the government, because this is one conflict is going on all over the country.
You see, in fact, there is no real conflict, because in our heritage, culture, and history, we cannot reverse it all of a sudden. And since there is a political undercurrent on this also, we cannot change it immediately. For South India, especially for the states of Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and Karnataka. Kerala, of course, we are beefeating. And it is a sink for Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and to some extent Andhra Pradesh and Telangana. Animals are brought to Kerala, and we consume and we take the pav or the sin of slaughtering these animals for the sake of others, I should say. Maybe in Northeast also this problem doesn't exist, but we have to maintain the cows whom we call Gomata. She has to be cultivated, she has to be maintained with reverence. And in old age, there should be given solace by making pinjara poles and such places where these animals can be kept and at least fed. They should not be driven into the street. They should not be just loitering around and spoiling others' crops. So this is the only thing for the time being we can do. Maybe in years to come, our perspectives may change, I don't know. But I may not live to see that one.
Sir, your presence in this conference is a big glitter added to everybody. And we got confidence that an encyclopedia is here, so that what we talk, what we present, you always there to correct us. But here, what exactly, how you rate this conference in terms of technical papers, the attitude of the scientists, young scientists, and the perspectives of the veterinary sciences going on in our country?
Well, among the technical papers, some of them were excellent, some of them were good, but some of them were mediocre and below standard, I should say. The students, some of them presented well, but they require more schooling, more instruction in how to present within a limited time. They are given only 3 minutes to present. And if they start with the history of animal husbandry in India and try to come to the point, they will not get time to put their findings and conclusions.
Right. For every minute, you are observing all the papers, taking the conclusions and writing everything. So can you tell what 3 important recommendations we can give out of this conference to the policymakers, researchers, academicians? 3 major, if you feel that, what are the priorities where you can really recommend out of this? That's going to be a very valid information, sir, for us.
One is that there should be a systematic calculation as to the expenditure cost of production as well as the prices they can get. They must get a sufficient profit. The farmer should get a sufficient profit so that apart from his labor, he should also make a profit out of the work he is doing. Then only he will have the incentive to adapt modern technologies. So this is my recommendation number one.
Yes.
That there should be a proper evaluation of the cost, and apart from the cost, he should get a profit.
So thank you very much, sir. This is a wonderful interaction with you. I think this is my lifetime.